With each day that passes by, we are getting closer to the very end of principal photography for Star Wars Episode 9 by J.J. Abrams. This is Mike Zero. If you guys are new to the channel, do make sure to subscribe to see future Star Wars content. Now, one thing that a lot of people, including myself, am really looking forward to seeing in this film are, of course, the major twists and turns and surprises that are coming our way. That's going to change our perception on both The Force Awakens and The Last Jedi alike. Now, these past couple of weeks or so, we've been learning a whole lot more about this film when it comes to some of the set leaks, the set designs, the concept art and storyboard descriptions, etc. Now, one of which has all to do with a sequence that J.J. Abrams is putting together that will fix one of the biggest mistakes within the sequel trilogy. Now, I think it's pretty safe to say that one of the biggest mistakes in the new Star Wars trilogy that we are going through right now is, of course, how we never got that real reunion scene between both Han Solo, General Leia, and Luke Skywalker. Now, thankfully, Mark Hamill shot his scenes already that are to actually be meshed together with older footage of Han Solo and General Leia from The Last Jedi and The Force Awakens into a full-on reunion scene. However, there's no word about Harrison Ford actually stepping on set and portraying the character of Han Solo once more. Now, this is all for J.J. Abrams in order to fix the mistake that actually a lot of people had a problem with in both The Force Awakens and in The Last Jedi, and it still carries on to this very day that a lot of people really are pretty much, down that we never got to see that reunion scene between the three major characters from the original trilogy. So the fact that J.J. Abrams is fixing that major mistake tells us that J.J. is listening. Now, we heard about this lightly before in the past, and we've been hearing about it more and more this past week, that they are indeed meshing a lot of footage together between both Mark Hamill for what he shot in Episode 9, and of course the older footage of Han Solo and Leia from The Force Awakens, as well as additional footage of Leia from The Last Jedi. So with that being said, I gotta say one thing here, is that this seems very ambitious through JJ's eyes. You could tell that he's listening to the fans now, you could tell that he knows that it's a problem within the Star Wars community, that a lot of people just wanted to see this on the big screen, and I will agree that was one of the big mistakes in the actual Star Wars sequel trilogy films. In my opinion, if you're gonna bring back the three legacy characters, right, as I like to call it, bringing back the band, you gotta bring them back together again. You can't keep them split up the entire series. So when we look at everything else here, we do know that Leia is back in Episode 9 in present time. So we know that they're using the character, as a character that will be placed in present time within Star Wars Episode 9. Now, there is additional footage of Carrie Fisher from The Last Jedi and The Force Awakens that they will be CGIing her actual outfit in order to make her appearance look different in Episode 9, both in the forms of flashbacks and in the forms of present time in the actual story. So, what do you guys think about all of this that J.J. Abrams is going through right now? We do know that Mark Hamill has finished his scenes for what's to be done through some of the flashbacks between Han Solo and Leia right now. And we do know that as we get closer to the very end of filming, Mark Hamill's going to keep working and working until he's finished as the character of Luke Skywalker. And it's a very important movie to Disney and Lucasfilm. They're treating this movie as a course correction technique, not just within the sequel trilogy, but also as a way to make up for the Solo: A Star Wars Story box office results. Now, to me, I feel like all of this should have been done in the middle film of the trilogy. To me, the middle film of the trilogy really holds it all together. So it's really going to take a lot in order to make Episode 9 successful. And it has been said numerous times that this is a big movie and it's considered the biggest Star Wars movie in history. Now, what does that necessarily mean? Does that necessarily mean it's the longest Star Wars film? Well, we heard about that too. But when we hear big, we're talking about how much stuff is thrown into this film and how much stuff is going on in the background. It's going to feel like an epic fantasy film where you have all these characters going on different quests and going through different action sequences, and there's going to be a lot of chaos, losses and sacrifices, and emotions involved. So that's one thing that I think J.J. Abrams is really trying to put together. It also has the biggest sets that are actually being used to film these scenes over at Cardington. You know, one of the Cardington sheds are being used for episode 9. It's a humongous set. I don't know if you guys ever saw it, but you can see these sheds from miles away. And that's how big those set pieces really are. So with J.J. Abrams at the helm here, trying his very best for the fans in order to pretty much fix that mistake in the sequel trilogy, I gotta say, I really do have to give him a lot of credit for that. I really do give him props for trying to really put the pieces back together now in episode 9 in order to make the sequels feel complete. Now, I do have to ask you guys something. Do you guys think that you would feel a little bit more fulfilled within the sequel trilogy if they actually do get this reunion scene done correctly? If they get it done correctly, will you view the sequel trilogy as a whole in a different light? Or is it not going to change anything at all still? Now, in my opinion, it's all about not just what they do with the reunion scene, but also what they do with the character of Luke Skywalker individually, and if these revelations really are going to add up and have a lot of payoff to the actual story and to the audience. Anyways, guys, drop a comment below. Let me know what you think about all of this in the comments. And if you guys did enjoy the content for today, do make sure to drop a thumbs up on this video to support the channel. I thank you all so very much for the kind support, and I'll catch you guys next time.